It's just outside of my normal area, but it affects people in my area. And, I was like, okay. And I had to talk to this individual going, okay, well, here's the problem with this. If I make this claim and the charges are clear, I have to remove it, or I face a litigation,
Yep.
or worse yet, is if you decide to go to court and I say, this person did all these horrible things, and now you're a juror and you've read this story of me painting this person as this horrible person. Well, now you're not validated. You're not a juror. And maybe the case gets thrown out because, for
Yep.
some reason, everyone in that jury pool that day read my post.
Yep. And most likely they did, if they're
So,
from Barrie.
so this is kind of it's not a tightrope, but you have to understand that there's certain things you can and cannot do. Right. Oh, this person fired me because of this, or there's times where we look into things, oh, there was an incident, involving someone, we'll say Innisfil. Okay. And it had to do with the job offer, and it was just how that job offer was presented. And they wanted me to put out this community awareness. And, I did a bit of digging, found out, okay, well, here are the avenues. And then that person still wanted me to put something out. It's like, I don't think it's the best idea. I think what you need to do is you need to go. And if you were going to let the police know, put something on paper,
Yep.
right? So that we know this will happen again. We know this is a pattern.
Yep. And that's recorded.
But now the foundation has been put down, right?
Yep.
And it may be nothing and it might seem like nothing, but you're going to help the next person. Well, I want it to stop now. I need it to stop now. No, we can't, because technically that person, what they're doing is in a gray area in a sense, right? It's not morally right. And I just see I'm skirting this issue.
We're not the moral police. You can't fix everything, and you can't fix stupid.
No. 100%. But when you look into these, but then that's when you have to look into things, and then you learn things about people. It's like, oh, well, this person works at ABC Incorporated. And I'm like, oh, I never thought ABC Incorporated treated, or, oh, that guy, oh, I thought he was a really nice guy, but he's this according to you. But then you have to, now that's one account. I have to find at least 2 to 3 more accounts to make this. So how do I go around going, do you call him, hey, Mr. So-and-so, can I have a list of all your former employees? Like, no, because
exactly.
Right, you can't tip a hand. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe this guy is, not a good person, but you can't, like, you're stuck at a certain point,
It's like you get a lot of people always on the schools too. I noticed that. And I'm like, what do they expect you to do? Like, take down the school? And half the time when you do start digging, it's like the person that made the complaint is the one in the wrong.
Yeah. Or anyone under the age of 18 should not have news made about them. That's another one.
Yeah.
We've had fights where knives have been drawn, and people have put in so many complaints.
There was a machete for one of them.
Yep, and there was enough complaints put in that Facebook took down the post because it was bullying. They called it.
Yeah.
They called that video bullying. And I was like, and I dealt with trustees, and I've dealt with this, and I've dealt with that. I've dealt with trustees where they're like, why are you posting this? And I've dealt with trustees where I'm going, why are you giving out snorting straws?
Exactly.
Right? Like 6-7.
Where's the balance? Like, there is no balance, right? And it changes by the day. The rules change by the day. Even for us, right? Even for us, the rules change. Like, the rules change for me by the day,
I won't get into it, but one of the videos I put out, I made an inquiry about it. And I said, I'd like to present it in this type of light. Can you provide me information? And the response given back to me was, well, you can do what you want. And that was very disheartening, as I was trying to prevent misinformation from going out, which we had information that other people didn't have. And, there was some information put out there with an incorrect narrative, because it was, a lot of times when people are filming, they're narrating, and we received it like, oh, look what's happening over here. It's your typical people doing your typical thing. And it's like, but that's not the case. What happened 10 seconds before? What happened 20 seconds before?
Exactly.
Barrie police face that all the time. It's just like everyone's met. Okay, so the original one at the Barrie at the Bayfield Mall, the security guard who held down the victim was my former security partner.
Okay.
He was following the orders of the police officer. I had conversations with him. I said, dude, what happened? And he explained to me, well, that you told me to hold him down. And then once the officer started striking him, apparently it was this. Now, when you look through 2020 glasses after the fact, the security guard was supposed to then stop the officer. Now, are you going to tell an officer that they're going to? Oh, yeah, that was part of the report back then. This security guard wound up facing death threats by the public.
Wow.
Because through multiple groups and all this, and they had moved out of province and joined the military.
Wow. And this just proves this is a great example for people that are like, oh, the security guards don't do anything. Well, this is why. Because if they do anything, then they're to blame. If they don't do anything, they're to blame. So at that point, it's like, what's safe for them?
Fast forward to our next incident that Barrie police are well known about. And that's in front of Meridian Square, following a skateboarder who, a lot of people still don't talk about it. But, the crumbs that are left out for me say that incident just didn't start there.
Nope.
5 Points, Mary Street, the McDonald's.
Queen's Park.
Right.
It was going on for a while.
What was that person's mannerism? What led up to it? What was their history with the interaction with the department? But the cell phone turns on at the moment that officer just and I'm not excusing for what he did.
No,
but
we're not. But
and then we'll go to just this last weekend. There's a video that was circulating of a gentleman filming down from a top floor of an interesting establishment. Well, I'll leave it at that. Yeah. And he's narrating, oh, look, cop's got his knee on his neck, cop's doing this, cop's doing that. But it starts there. We went out and, it's like, okay, well, there's about 500 other cameras, right? Including the ones downtown. I'm surprised that the members haven't been looked after that way. Like, here's the whole interaction.
Yeah.
Right? Just to be like, oh, we are aware of this video circulating, because there's been a lot of times that has happened where you'll see officers say, we are aware of video circulating of XYZ. This is, we do not, they either say it's isolated, they're looking into it, it was a non-issue, or, they encourage not to share. But seeing that video, I immediately was like, I know about 10 other people I can ask to get different, because they've all said they would. And I get one. And it's just enough to show what the narration has been provided by the department. Now, I remove all sound because I'm trying to remove that narrative, because that narrative will skew you,
Yeah. Yep.
Right? It's, and whatever. But it was an incident that happened, and I'm sure that they're going to talk about it and all that and stuff. That stuff all happens behind the scenes, Like it or not, that's what happened. And there was a traffic stop as a result of no license plate weaving in and out of parked cars, and, someone just, testing boundaries and found out what happens when you test the wrong boundary.
Exactly.
Right. And again, I can show I've had people say, well, he wasn't trying to go. And, if I look at the video, I see his wrist going back. I definitely see him moving back from the motorcycle. Did he lose balance? I don't know that. Right. That's not my, but that's me. If I did my interpretation, that could skew a whole different other people. And other people are mad at me going, oh, you're pro this, you're pro that. No, this incident happened. Here's the whole incident.
Exactly. Now here's the information. Do what you want with it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how he's always been, like with car accidents. Like
the power of the page, right? That's what I call it. The power of the page.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's really weird to hold that kind of, I think influence is the better word I'll use. Cause I think power comes across as very arrogant. I don't have power. I have influence.
No, you don't have power, but the page has power. Like if you post something and you're like, oh, if I had the 2 minutes before, the 2 minutes after, what people don't realize is 20 people are going to give you the 2 minutes before, the 2 minutes after. That's what I mean when I say the power of the page. People are providing you information even when you don't ask.
And there have been many a traffic incident that there have been tickets issued to the wrong people. And I've been told by people that, some people within a circle go check his page first, because you never know what he has. And yep, sure enough, the witnesses said, yep, that guy went through the green. Nope, he didn't go through the green. It was, he had a red and he just kept going.
Yep.
Right.
It's like how many people reach out to you and be like, oh, my insurance needs this. It's like, oh, today you need us. Next week we're us.
But those are the same people that are like, how dare you show, and here's a perfect one. There was a struck pedestrian on Arda, and I came in and I wasn't shooting the victim because I was trying to, try to get them all blocked off. And then it's like, oh, well, paramedics aren't wearing their helmets. The fire guy's not wearing his vest. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm trying to do the right thing and not get these guys in these compromising. And they're not compromising. What I've been told is that the Ministry of Labor basically creates my page looking for infractions. So as a courtesy, I'm going to not do that. Right? Yeah. 2 seconds. Wait for the shot. But it was an elderly lady and the son came, and in the commotion, he didn't think about taking any photos, and he has to file through, I guess, his insurance or his lawyer or whomever. And he's like, so where is it? And so I'm like, well, I have this one picture where she's on the stretcher. She's just been put up and you can see where the vehicle is because the nose is just peeking out in the photo. And that is a good thing for him. Like when dealing with some promotions with the law office, the first thing they say is if you can get out and take pictures. No one ever does. No,
they get caught up in the 45 seconds of chaos.
And then depending on what happens on certain things, like, like say you have to be transported to hospital or they have to cut you out of the car and all that. Like, yes, police are going to do the reconstruction, but then to get a lot of those photos, it's a Freedom of Information Act. You get the, I've been in an accident. You get that piece of paper. This is what happened, right? And that's it. You don't get photos. You just get, this is what happened. Here's you with your insurance. Here's him with his insurance.
Figure it out.
Yeah. And that's what's emailed to you. You don't get that luxury of pictures. You don't, because then that becomes a Freedom of Information Act, and then you have to go and file, and that's $15 to $20.
Yeah, and time, lots of time.
Oh yeah,
I know people that spend months fighting.
Well, if it was body cam, for instance, someone's got to go through and make sure that there's no this, there's no that. Oh, this person's in the video. We got to edit him out, or blur their face, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. Yeah, I believe Barry recently hired a new civilian just to focus on that. I know Aurelia has a team up
just
there.
To go through body cam.
Yeah,
wow.
And that's for court. Like a lot of it is more for the court aspect because everyone that's not involved gets blurred out. It's like these are so what you see on like A&E on like wildest police.
Narrow it down. Yeah.
Yeah. And this person didn't sign a waiver. That person didn't sign a waiver. So I get it. But that like that's a huge problem too, right? So and that's just an added step. So if you're able to get them, or I'm able to get them, am I the biggest butthole in the world and says no, you can't have them? No, the biggest problem I have is oh, you show license plate, you showed the driver, you showed this, you showed that. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. How do you want me to shoot this when first of all it wasn't my photo? Am I putting happy faces?
And that's the other thing. Yeah, people don't even realize you have a team. That's the other thing. Some of the photos you didn't even take.
Yeah, and here's where I'll say my team is. My team is at this moment all near 157,000 followers.
That's
who send me on Messenger, email, text, WhatsApp,
phone calls.
And they go, here you go. Oh yeah, like and people just they sense because they
and they get so excited. Like a lot of the ones I see sending stuff in, and then I see because you'll be like, do you want the credit for it? And they're like, no, I don't. It's all you. Go take it. And I'm thinking to myself, these are that's fabulous. Like these people clearly just want to get you the information. Like the odd one, will be like, yeah, I'll take the credit. And so, you're going to give it to them. But it just amazes me how many of them don't. They just want to help.
Yeah. And the only time I push back is like, well, that one's going to be a nasty one. Do you want the pushback or do you want the protection of being a source? And, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
it's not like I can sell photos now. I'm sorry. Every organization.
That's another podcast. That's another podcast.
But it's like I can't. You know what? Here, give me 2 seconds. Wheel over. I'll show you the last photo I stole. Remember this?
Yeah, that's all that matters, baby. Right there. There you go.
Yeah, that's the last photo that I sold, and you know what? Still haven't built them, but that was the last one I sold because the market has changed.
Yep.
They're
all getting their own content creators now. They're getting their own media channels. I mean, it annoys me, to be honest. And I'll say this as as a taxpayer, not as a team member. It becomes annoying to me because I'm like, how much time is being invested in things that other media sites, and not just you, like there's other sites that were already doing this work. Why are these places opening up their own media channels and having their own people do the media coverage, take the pictures, do the videos, do the content? Like some of it's even like humorous, like it's almost like skits. And I'm like, who's paying for
that? But you got to think, 20 years ago, it was a vault. Nothing was getting out.
Yeah.
Right.
And now it's like, who can get to who finishes the race first? It's almost like it's competitive. It feels competitive.
I'm okay with it because if I miss something, I know, well, you're going to show it. You're going to give it out, right? Like it's not a problem.
Yep.
The thing that I think,
it's good for you. Keeps you on your toes. But I'm saying for them, like, what's the point?
But here's the thing. If there are 4 players in the game, 4 to 5, we'll say 5 players in this game, then give all 5 players access to that content. Don't cherry pick, or don't have us have to call in and go, hey, bump, got any great?
Yeah.
No, sorry, I don't. But then,
they're giving it out to the,
and it's been stupid little things that I've noticed. And the one that I laugh at, and I won't, there was a photo that was released by an agency, and inadvertently they gave an exclusive photo to one side and then a different photo to everyone else.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Yep.
And I won't get into like the who's, the what's, the where's, but as a photographer, I'm going to notice the difference between a green light and a red light. And that's what I saw.
Yep.
We all watch, like, come on, let's be honest. We all watch our stuff. Monday morning, there's a guy that comes in at 6 o'clock in the morning and just scrolls through my page and then starts making phone calls. We dropped the murder in Niagara Falls. We put out, when that press release came out, we were notified within 20 minutes of that press release dropping. They have connections in this area. And just today they're saying, they were spotted in Peterborough and they have connections to the area. I'm like, wow, I dropped that Friday.
That's yesterday's news.
Yesterday's news tomorrow.
News. Let's get on what's happening today.
But that just goes to show that is a compliment on my,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is unofficial flowers to me. I'll say, and
it always makes me wonder if, like, because, not everybody's always cooperative, and sometimes it's like a little, like it almost feels like a stabbing in the back. It's not all of them, just some of them. But sometimes I say to myself, I sit back and I say to myself, like, is the pressure on them from their bosses, right? Like, how do they turn into this?
I'll give you an example, and I'm sure I know there was a round table somewhere. I'm on Highway 2A in Alberta, going to the Edmonton International Airport last summer. There's a plane crash in Oro. Guess who had the first photos posted? From Alberta. Yep. That blew my mind. And it was at that point that some of them took knees, and then other ones were just pulling their hair out. Like, how does he, how, and
because you're working it, because you're hustling. That's how we need to, maybe they need, I don't know, maybe you need to have another round table, invite them all, be their coach. I don't know. But because you're doing the hard work, and this is what annoys me about them. It's like, why don't they put in the same effort? And they're getting steady paycheck. There's no guess. Yep. There's no, I might make this week. No. There's no guess. There's a full-time salary. There's rules. Follow them and just spit out your stuff.
Because the path of least resistance, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's exactly it. And you like what you do. You're good at what you do. You're hustling, and they're not. That's simple.
I will say there are a lot that are hustling, and there are some now that have understood my style. And when I see a reporter of any ilk out past 7, my hat's off to you.
Yep.
My hat's off to you.
Yep, it's not all of them. It's not all of them.
I will do this on this podcast. Shout out for Kevin Lamb for following that murder story. He's interviewed the family. He did the vigil. It happened at 8:30. I saw him out there.
Yep.
Right?
And he followed up. Yeah, I saw another one today.
Yeah. And that's follow up. I'm giving him flowers for following through with that kind of a situation, right?
Yeah, and that's a tough one.
We are both photographers. We both see things through different lights. We shoot different styles. It's the same style. It's the same thing, but he sees again, and that's what I love about different reporters on the same thing. Mm-hmm. I see it this way. You see it that way. At the end of the day, it's still the same story. right?
Exactly. As long as you're there to see it.
Yes. Yes.
That's what matters. If you show up to see it.
Well, I could do that next TikTok trend where I could throw a picture that I've taken up and been like, I was on Tiffin Street today where a car drove through a light pole. Information is scarce at this moment, and do that kind of a bit. But I don't need to yet, right? Yeah. But that is, in this industry, especially with me, I have to be ready to pivot at every moment. And again, we're talking about the photos. The photos have dried up. Okay, so what do we do here? What do we do here? What do we do here? Yep. Okay, so let's start working on festivals. Let's start working on advertising. Let's build these connections so that, when the festivals watch us, like I showed up at Tall Pines. I was there last year for, I don't know, like 2 days. This year I showed up, they were like, oh, you're here. And I had to apologize. Yeah, I'm only here for today. Montana's coming up tomorrow.
Yep.
They were disappointed. They were disappointed. I'm like, no, you wait till you see her cook. Unfortunately, the festival canceled, air quality, yada, yada, but that is like, oh, thank you. And good, it's just going to do that. It's going to places and having people, it's a double-edged sword. I love going to places and people recognizing me, but when I'm burnt out, and we'll tie this back into the emotion, and I've seen dead bodies, and I've been bitched at, and I've been called scum, and you name it, right? And I've been heckled on the street, and I've kind of had to shield Montana because we weren't in that scene. We were getting ice cream, and someone's like, you're a fucking asshole. And I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that. I appreciate your comment. Like I hold it out, but then I'm in a Walmart drain, and I'm just trying to buy like 4 steaks, potatoes, and asparagus. And people want to have that conversation. And my daughter watches how I go from that I don't care about anything to, hi, how's it going? Oh, I'm glad you love the pig. I really appreciate you. And she goes, how do you do that? I'm like, you just have to.
You have to. Yeah.
Like there was an incident with Carson and another child. And the child came by the house, and I have to back Carson. But we're in a day and age where you can't yell at a kid. You can't do what happened to me, and where I've had everyone's parent on a block cuff me.
Parents come to the door. Yeah. So
I just simply said, are we good? Yeah. Okay, come here. Tell me what happened. And the kid's all like, oh, I'm afraid you're going to beat me up. And I'm like, I laugh. I'm like, dude, I'm so internet famous that I can't even have this conversation with you. Exactly. All I'm asking you is what happened.
Yeah.
Tell me your side. And so I get told the side, and then I know his parents. So I called his parents, right? Like, and like I have changed in a lot of ways. Like I would have been cuffed in the head. I would have cuffed the kid, and I would have cuffed Carson, right? Like that was how I was brought up. But now it's like, okay, like let's figure out what all happened here. And I'm sure that between the two stories that we've gotten, in the middle somewhere is the truth. So there's a little bit here, a little bit there.
A third side.
But again, this ties in. We're in a culture now where there needs to be blame placed, and Carson, wonderful little guy, full of potential. But when he does that, he reinforces that whole, well, there's a blame game involved too, and there shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, you might have done something to trigger it, and then as I'm doing this, I'm going, and this is what Barrie Police deal with of 70 of their 77 calls in a day. Hey, now was it really that bad, guys? Did anyone actually get hurt? Well, I felt this, and I felt that, and I felt this, and I'm scared of this, and you're big and intimidating. And then I'm like, guys, like at the end of the day, like, so we're good. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm calling your parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that seems to be like that's a lot of what first responders have to deal with. Huh? Right? Someone's in an overdose situation. Yo, you okay, bro? And they walk away. Right? Or they Narcan them. You've gotten rid of their high. They're mad. Now they're conscious, and they're like, I refuse treatment.
Swinging at you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that is a good or bad thing. We're, this is election time in this area, and I'm not throwing my hat into anyone. I'm listening to all sides. All sides have valid points.
Yeah. And I'm going to say the same thing and agree with you, because we know how many people are going to watch this, and I will agree with you. I am on nobody's side. I'm just here to listen to everybody and everybody's ideas, and I hope the best for the city of Barrie. But I will say, sorry, I'm going to step back a little bit. I will say, being a downtown resident, that the downtown area has gotten much better. I will say that. So everybody that's going to vote.
Let's clip that.
I said it first. but I've been downtown a long time, since 2014. And this year, I have to say, big difference from the past couple years with everything, with attendance downtown, with the cleanup of downtown. The park's looking great. There's less nonsense. There's less fight. I'm noticing a lot of things.
And here's the thing that I learned, because there was a potential move that was going to happen downtown, and I had photos of it, right? Those photos are worthless now, because it was a plan that could have happened, right? But it's not going to happen. But I got told the plan, and it's like, it's going to go in the book of things that could have happened in Barrie. But, you know, okay, so you know that there's going to be a plan B, but because of the fact that, you know, like if I'm negotiating, let's say with, well, here, I'll grab this, Listerine, signed by Darren Frost. There we go. Because he was the Listerine guy.
There we go, Listerine, shout out for you.
Yeah, but if I'm in a contract to become the official, they're going to be our official mouthwash, am I going to tell people that? Or maybe Scope is, I'm talking to Scope in the background, and I'm saying, hey, Scope, Listerine has offered me $3 million. What do you got? And they're like, well, I'll tell you what, we'll give you $2 million, and we'll do this. So when you start, so maybe something like that's happening behind the scenes. So when there's plans being developed, it's not like they're going to be like, here's everything, right?
Exactly.
Because first of all, you're going to,
and they don't have everything.
Yeah, maybe they don't. Maybe they're just in. Again, it's like anything.
Yeah,
there could be steps. There could be steps, right? Right. For all we know, a Dave & Buster's is coming in, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is, you don't want to overwhelm people. If they just come out there on their podium and say this, it's all happening, then you got everybody overwhelmed. You have half of Barrie going, it's bullshit, because it just seems to be, it's, you know, it's too good to be true.
But it's also, you know. But it's also not fair to, like say we announce Dave & Buster's is going in, and we're going to have a mega pickle. You mentioned pickleball. You know, they're going to have a mega pickleball plex, let's say, and we're going to build, you know, parking to accommodate that, and there's going to be, I don't know, like an amusement park, let's say, right? Well, the amusement park now doesn't get their flowers because they're tied in with Dave & Buster, you know, and all these other things, right? But maybe. And again, I'm deliberately not saying the rumblings I've heard, because again, I don't want to be that, you know, but there have been stuff in the comments. There's been stuff in comments on posts where I'm like, that is bang on. And I've had to bite my tongue. You know, we need this.
You can always tell who's in the know.
Yeah.
Because I'll see people comment too. And I'm like, good job. You got it. We got a winner, but we can't say it.
But it's just certain things that are said, and it's just like, but again, when people say it, like the negativity about the soccer stadium, you know, they paved Paradise and put out a parking lot. No, that was a high school that not a lot of people like, but you know, we're tied into nostalgia. You know, we're tied into this is our history, this is our past, but then how do we go forward when we're always, you know, when we're looking behind us, we can never go forward.
No, and the other thing is the city is growing. It's growing really, really fast. And with fast cities, we need more money. And to get more money, we need to bring in more stuff, like the soccer stadium, like whatever else is being announced in the next couple of weeks. We know what's coming to the city, and it matters because we need dollars coming into the city. And then you'll get the people that are like, oh, our taxes are going up. Well, maybe if you enlighten these things coming to the city, your taxes won't go up because we'll have those things paying for the difference.
Right. And then they talked about the wastewater innovation center. Everyone was talking about Midway Diner and how it was a historical site, and that, you know, but unfortunately, sometimes things have got to go. Honest Ed's went. Yeah. Right. Like, damn the Ranker Man's.
Yeah. And those were big things for us. And I remember going to those stores. I remember going to Honest Ed's fun fair every year like that. I'm from Toronto, you know that. And when it closed down, it was a hard pill to swallow, because you're like, holy shit, half my childhood just left.
Okay, but, here, I'll get you one better.
Okay.
At Black Creek Pioneer Village.
Yes, one of my favorite.
When one of the Strong family was still living on the property. Yeah. So they live, you had to go underneath Jane Street and Steeles. There's a tunnel. Back in the day, they thought of putting a steam engine in, but then they figured it just wasn't working out, and funding eventually crashed. But you used to go, and the barn on the other side used to be the museum. But on that property was the last surviving member of the Strong family. You know, so, you know, you see stuff, but then what happens is, and I will say this about any city, or any organization. Regimes change, and people sometimes, you have to appreciate your past, but you also have to move forward, right?
Yes. Yes.
If you don't,
Yes.
like Allendale, yes, I will say I'm for the revitalization. I live in the Allendale area.
Please don't get me started on that. I need to see that beautiful building built into something spectacular. Every time I get on or off the GO train, I look at it and I get it. Okay, I understand there's a process, and we're going to respect why there's a process. But at the same time, I say to myself, like, then let's give back to it. If that's what's happened, if that's the process, let's give back to that. But please,
I'll throw out one. Now, you want a destination spot, right? And I've heard some rumblings of the farmers market, right?
Yep.
It's kind of on Mulcaster, but, and this is just me throwing it out there. Imagine they've finished digging it all up and all that. Imagine the farmers market.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Or see, this is what I picture. I picture people from Toronto coming in. It's all lit up like little white lights going around the whole building. Farmers market, little boutiques. Maybe they get some, you're going to get somebody who's got to pay the big rent, right?
Where they could pair up with the farmers market or something, something there.
Yes. And people will come from Toronto to go to it.
Because you got the farmhouse for lunch,
and it's the first thing you see when you get off the train. So another thing too is the trains aren't every half hour, right? So if you're in, I know. But if you're in between, or you're waiting on a bus, or you're visiting somebody for whatever reason, it's right there. You get off the train, you could go check it. People go from Barrie to Toronto to go to Kensington Market, to go to the distillery. Like,
well, when you're waiting, you can just go across the street to Jug City. Come on now, that's a fun jaunt to go get a snack or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. I really hope they're working towards a plan there. That's a plan that I would love to partake in. I would volunteer, whatever it takes. Like, I really want to see that land built up into something really beautiful, and have people talking positively about it rather than.
There's a lot of things. And looking now, we got the cadets getting a new home and all that. So that, like, things are happening. Yep. Like, there are shovels in the ground. Like, so things are working towards a betterness.
And we need these things moving forward. I when I hear people, the history, it's historic. I'm like, listen, we are historic, okay? We are going to die. We're all going to die one day. And there's a new generation up and coming. And the new generation, in order to survive in Barrie, needs money coming in. The city is growing fast. If you have all these people in the city and there's nobody bringing money in, your taxes are going to go up. That is not rocket science.
Yeah.
Right? That is not rocket science. So I don't disagree with anything new or big that they're bringing in. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm downtown, so I want to see these things happen.
I saw a post on another neighborhood site. It's not in Barrie, but they complained about the taxes going up in over like, it was a 7-year period. And they're all upset, and they need to vote the mayor out. And it's like, where were you guys when they're talking about building this complete metropolitan, like, orbiting thing intent?
Exactly.
And your complaint, well, they need that tax money to build that infrastructure.
That's right. That's right. And you shoot out all these ideas to communities, and then they're like, we don't like it. We don't like it. We don't like it. Then the tax bill comes in and they're bitching. I'm like, okay, you can't have both.
Yeah, but when you're converted, when your converted summer cottage that you've been living in for 40 years goes from when you paid $90,000 to $500,000, because all of a sudden now either the town needs your land, or a developer goes, we want to build bigger.
Yep.
Right. Look what's happening. Big Bay Point and like well, it's not Madeline, but when Madeline flips over.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. We want this block, and they took it all out, and it's like, whoa! But they're densing. They're making it more dense. Like, it's going to be to the point where, yes, Barrie's going to have a headquarters, but I can see them buying Sperling, the police, back, and that becomes a division, and then they build a new division in the south end because there's just so much stuff.
Yeah, I could see that. And the more these big things they're bringing in, the more people that are going to come in. We're going to need more.
The target is 300,000 people. I think by I don't know if it's 2030 or 2050. I can't. The dates escape me, but they are anticipating 300,000 people here.
Yep.
300,000. And you're worried about who's going to fill a 3,500 seat arena that has a capability to 85? And you're worried that we're investing in a multicultural arts center. And there's talk of the Canadian Baseball League team possibly getting closer to the downtown core. We're complaining, but people are looking at, well, this is what's here now. But think about what's going to be there tomorrow.
Exactly. Or 5 years or 10 years when your little babies playing at the local park are going to be 15 and 16. They're all bitching, oh, there's no jobs. Well, they're trying to bring stuff in to create jobs. These are going to create jobs.
Over military contracts that they've just talked about.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And I'm with that, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of selling. And they go, well, look, we're a world-class city. Would you rather have, I'm sorry, and this is no knock to any other town, but you got Barrie, you got Orillia. What perks does Orillia have that Barrie doesn't?
Exactly.
What other things does Barrie have that Orillia, and they're both.
And the good news is Orillia is a 20-minute drive. So Orillia community is actually going to benefit too because they're already visiting Barrie. They come up here. 100%, so now they can come up to games and they can come to the downtown patios and fill up the beach. Like I remember when the beach was so packed that like I wouldn't even go because I'm like, there's nowhere to go. There's just too many people. It's like it was all just started to. It's like, okay, well, there's nobody at the beach. Oh, nobody's using the boat slips. Oh, no, boats aren't stopping and going into downtown businesses. They're just floating. Nobody's getting off the boats. So now they're finding ways to get people up on the street of downtown, and now it's people are complaining.
I'll get you off. They're getting off the boat and they're opening restaurants, and people are mad at that.
Yeah, it's like it just doesn't make any sense.
That's the negativity, and people love to shit on the places they're at, and it's like, is it that bad? Is it that bad? And then if it is that bad, what are you doing to make it better?
And that's the other thing. If you want to complain, yes, freedom of speech, you get to vote, complain all you want, but do something. Do something that's impactful.
I was at a festival where I was talking to an artist and they don't vote because they said it doesn't matter. And it's like, that is to me, that kills me. I don't care if you want to vote for vote for a potato, spoil your ballot. Just go through that act because then you have that opportunity to come.
Yes. Exactly. Like I will admit, we won't talk too much politics. We can do another podcast for that. But I will admit
they'll be chasing us with torches. Then let's not do.
A few weeks ago, I noticed that not a lot of people were putting their names in. I was actually concerned. I was like, we have so many passionate keyboard warriors and so many passionate people about everything that Barrie should be doing, but yet nobody's stepping up to do anything or to help out or support. So I have noticed in the last couple of weeks that we're getting some more candidates up in different wards, different positions. And that makes me happy because I'm like, okay, now people are starting to care. That's good. Be interesting to see how they all represent and stuff, but at least they're doing something.
But here's the thing. No one's going to care till September, to be honest. I'm waiting for September.
I know. 30 days before. Right? It was like that the last time too. It was very, very quiet until like the last 3 or 4 weeks, and then it just rolled off, right? But
So.
Okay, well, I think we should jump off. That was fantastic, though, and we got excited about a lot of different things. So we're obviously going to have to revisit with you again, Michael.
Yeah, sounds good. But
I appreciate your time, saying you sharing your stories and your, what you see every day.
It's never my intention to ruffle feathers. It's just more to bring attention to whatever. Right?
No, exactly. And I think more and more people are realizing that, and that makes me happy.
Oh, there you go. Alrighty.
That's what matters. Take care. I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Take care.
Thanks
Bye.
again. Bye.